Hello, good to be with you today for our daily reflection.
From the YouVersion app, verse of the day, and today it's from?
Yes, today it's from Isaiah 26 verse 3, which says, "You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you."
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's a big concept.
It is a very important one.
In perfect peace. And how do you do that?
Yeah, well, Paul talks about the peace that passes understanding, so I think he's talking about exactly the same thing. That is something that God promises that we can receive and know and experience, even in the midst of some of the most difficult of circumstances.
Yeah, that's right. Well, years ago, it reminds me of Corrie Ten Boom and her sister Betsy. Years ago, I read her book, The Hiding Place.
Yeah, good book.
And talking about their experiences during the Holocaust in a camp, an extermination camp. But thankfully, Betsy died, but Corrie survived and wrote many stories of what happened.
And was a great encouragement to many people.
She was at post-war, but they were from a strong Christian family in Holland, and they protected some of the Jews and hid some of the Jews that were being sought out by the governing authorities of the time, and as a result ended up in this concentration camp. And so as a result, they gathered women around them who would otherwise have been very lost, but gave them hope every day as they talked about God's faithfulness and goodness, and gave them a sense of peace. And this is what reminded me of it, that you will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, that they were steadfastly holding on to the faith in that really difficult situation.
It's a good reminder of both, isn't it? It's not peace that just comes somewhere out of nowhere without anything from you. This also talks about us keeping our hope and our trust in God at the same time, and the two work in tandem together in a very powerful and strong way. And even personally, we know something of that. I certainly can be a person that gets stressed in situations, about that.
Driving along the road, for example.
Oh, I'm not that bad on the road. I was thinking more about airports and places like that,
and,
catching planes and things like that. Or sometimes I can wake up even in the morning anxious about the things of the day. And part of my journey, even now over 60, is learning to be in that place of trusting God. And for me, that's a discipline. That's a daily discipline of spending time with God. It's a daily discipline of reminding myself or reading the scriptures or reminding myself of verses in the scriptures and of God's promises to me. And so it's good in this verse that it has both sides of the equation, the peace that God gives and the work that we need to do to remain steadfast with our minds on Christ. And I think that's your experience too, isn't it, Jenny?
Yeah, well, it's certainly been a lifelong learning thing. And while, in my younger days I would have thought I could do this, there's been so many layers added to it. And I suppose as life experience continues and you hit hard times or difficult areas in relationship with other people and that sort of thing, it develops as you grow older. And I suppose that's part of the depth of understanding that we've come to understand, to grow into, having had decades now of learning and growing and understanding and relating with other people, and not always easy.
No. And just because you may have 1 week or 1 day or 1 month known that place of peace doesn't mean to say that it's the same next month or the next day or the next hour.
You've got to keep on choosing to live in that place of steadfast, mind being steadfast, holding on to the truth that God has given us and given us that peace.
It's a bit like anything in life that's worth of value, is that you need to work at it. It's like our marriage, it's like our relationship with our kids, it's like our work, it's everything that's of value requires us to put effort into that. Now, we can do the wrong effort, we can do the wrong things, but actually in doing that, God has promised that we will know peace as well. But you don't want to work so hard at knowing the peace that you lose the peace. So there is this paradoxical side to it, because peace is a relaxedness, and I can get anxious about getting anxious. And all of a sudden we're in a cycle
that doesn't necessarily find your way out of easily.
So it is, as you say, putting our mind at rest in the things that God has promised and finding our strength from that. And He has promised us His peace.
Yep. Good to remember.
Cheers.
Be at peace today.
May God bless you.
See ya.
Bye.